Hey everyone, it's Ashley here, and I am really excited to be channeling Mercury tonight. It was really fascinating. I've been preparing the last few weeks for the Starseed course that's starting this Saturday, March 20th. There are still spaces open if you're interested, but I've been preparing for this course, and I channeled the planets, a special channeling just for the people that are in this course. And Mercury really stepped it up a bit. He came in pretty strong, and he definitely wanted to step forward. And I don't know what kind of message he has for this evening, but I'm really excited to hear how he comes through and what he has to say. But I just knew I needed to channel him because of just the way he came through for the course channeling video that I had done. And it's just really fascinating. I've channeled the planets a few times outside of the course here in Channeling with Love on Facebook. That's where I'm going live. So if you see this on YouTube, you can come onto Facebook and just search Channeling with Love and join the group. And that's where you can find me live every week on Thursdays. At this time, it's 6:31 Pacific time. And yeah, we're live and I'm seeing people joining. Hello, hello. Thank you guys for being here with me. I was just saying that I've been channeling the planets a few times for the Starseed courses that I've been hosting, but also here in Channeling with Love. And again, Mercury's just kind of stepped forward and really has kind of made it clear that he wants to be here with us this evening. And I'm just really excited to hear from him. I'm seeing lots of people joining. Hello, hello. I'll give maybe another 30 seconds and we'll jump into what he would like to share. I'll just describe him and his energy as he's coming in, because he's been hanging out with me for about the last half an hour as I've prepared for this channeling. And he's got some pretty strong energy. And I like to describe him as this, he's a very masculine energy, very youthful, and he feels in his energy, I don't know how else to describe this, but it's all, it's like almost like a wild energy. Like there's a lot of, there's just a lot of, I don't know how else to describe it, just wild energy. It feels very wild, untamed, very green, actually, when I channeled him. And people who are joining the course will be able to hear that full channeling. But I actually saw the green man with him as well. And their energy feels very similar to me. So it's just really fascinating to feel his energy. And I just absolutely love channeling him. And people are saying hello, hello, and joining in. I see Faith, Hope, Love is saying that their moon sign is Sun, Moon, and Ascendant are all ruled by Mercury. So wow, definitely triple Mercury in the house is what she's saying. That's awesome. He's just kind of chuckling at that. But yeah, basically, he feels very wild and very youthful as well. Lots of energy there. And how I'm feeling him right now is he's kind of behind me, and he's feeling very expansive, and he's coming straight down through my crown chakra into my neck, and through my upper back into my heart chakra. So he's kind of all in this area right here. So yeah, let's just get started then. And of course, once he shares his message, if you guys have questions, please post them in the comments, and I will try and keep up with questions and keep track of them all and answer as many questions as we can in the time that we have with him. So yeah, let's get started. He's saying, hello, everyone. I am very pleased to see many of you here interested in hearing from me, Mercury. And he's just saying, he's like tipping his hat to me for bringing him forward. So he's just saying a little thank you. He's saying, at this time, so many of you are experiencing an influx of energy, and you are experiencing highly uncomfortable ascension symptoms around this influx. Currently at this time, there have been many who have already spoken on this, but currently at this time, there is an increased volume of galactic energy that's coming through and anchoring into Gaia herself, as well as into each of you. Even if you have not chosen to receive this energy or follow your ascension path, even if there are people who are not aware that they are on an ascension path or awakened, say they are asleep, they are still anchoring energy. There are so many beings who are feeling these effects, and he's just kind of like putting his hand on his chest, and he asks, please bear with this energy. Please hold on. Try and be as comfortable as you can. He's highlighting. I've been having, I don't know about you guys, but he's highlighting an experience that I've been having. I'll wake up during the middle of the night and I'm just up. I can't go to sleep. I can't get comfortable. I'm just tossing and turning. I'm completely miserable for at least 2 hours during the night. And then I kind of finally manage to fall asleep. And then I wake up and I'm just feeling exhausted because there's just so much energy coming in. And I can really feel there's a lot of beings coming in and anchoring energy within me. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. And he's saying, this is definitely a common symptom of ascension symptoms, but especially at this time, many of you are not used to the more galactic energies, the strength, the intensity. And he's saying, as a planetary being, a more celestial being, he would consider himself also a galactic being in relation to where we are upon Gaia's back. And he's saying that he recognizes that intensity, and he just asks that we bear with it for as long as we can, and we can ask for assistance. He's saying he will afford assistance to those who wish to maybe slow down the anchoring a little bit, although it could extend the time frame for you. But he would be willing to work with your team if that's something you're interested in. And I'm asking him, how would he assist us if we were to ask him to come in? He is showing he's showing the planet Mercury and just kind of the arc along the uppermost part of the planet. So just on the surface of the earth of Mercury, there's that arc. He's a circle, so it's just kind of this half circle shape. He's showing that, and he's saying he would place upon us kind of like we're in a dome, like a half dome, like he would place that shape over us, and it would diffuse the energy a bit. It would still be coming in, but it would be diffused. So it'll maybe come in a little slower, a little bit more gently. But he would be working with the galactic beings and working with our teams to ensure that we are still receiving the energy that we need to receive. So if this is something that you would be interested in, he is willing to work with you, which is pretty awesome. He's saying, outside of the energetic experiences that many of you have been having in the last weeks, there is a lot. He would like to share a lot that is coming to the forefront in the next few months. And he's really bringing in a ton of energy. Oh my goodness, there's just like a ton of pressure just kind of like fit over my head here. he's just saying that there is going to be this consistent pattern of a rest and increase in energy. And over the next several months, there are going to be shifts in this energy as other beings step forward to provide an anchoring of light. So helping us to anchor that light. And he's just saying that this is going to be something we get accustomed to. We're building our muscle, our willpower, our muscle to handle this energy influx. And he's just, oh, this is cool. He's showing me an image of Gaia herself, and he's showing everything that, like, all the energetics that are surrounding her and anchoring within her, and then anchoring within us. So Gaia looks really sparkly, almost like, you know, those pictures of the light pollution on the planet, where it's just like all these splotches of yellowish golden light all over the surface of the earth. He's showing kind of a picture like that, but he's showing light coming out past Gaia, past the surface and into the atmosphere and out into the surrounding area. So it's like this light is like shooting out. And he's showing that it's really, really bright in the center. And there's these powerful energy bursts that are coming out from Gaia. And then each of us as beings of love and light, we also have this column of light coming out from ourselves and shooting up into the sky. And he's showing we all have these beams of light that are adding to this kind of a diffusion around Gaia herself. And it's really beautiful. It's like those satellite maps, or also like a cool golden, like a Christmas ornament that's like really shiny, and the light kind of spikes out because it's like reflecting light. I don't know if you guys have noticed that before. We're seeing an ornament kind of like that before, where it's just like super sparkly and it just shoots out these like light beams. That's kind of what it looks like. And he's just saying that this is only going to increase. And he is honored and privileged to see his sister, Gaia, Earth herself, be so supported and really get the focus and the energy that she deserves. He's saying all of us, so all of these celestial beings in our galaxy have a really important role to play. And he celebrates that he can support his sister in the anchoring of the light that is much needed upon her back, within her and within us. And he's just highlighting too that there are so many beings, galactic beings, that are surrounding Earth, and it's like there's just like oh, I'm trying to describe what I'm seeing here. So basically, there's the Earth and lights coming out, and then there's like all of these like ships. There's just like surrounding these ships. I don't know if maybe you've seen. I'm not thinking of a picture, a good example for this, but it's just like tons of, it looks like maybe satellites, you know, like a ring of satellites, and they're all moving around. There's all these ships and everything all around the Earth. And there's just so much more increased energy, increased activity and focus, that it's just like a crowd. Like so many people, beings are here that there's really no way that he's saying that there's no way that certain organizations, groups who track the space around Earth could miss a lot of the traffic and the activity that's taking place. And he's saying, and this is in reflection of, he's highlighting that I've really noticed there's an increase in conversations around UFOs and disclosure, and around sightings in different parts of the United States and across the world, across the globe. And he's just highlighting that kind of uptick that I've really noticed, even just like on Facebook news, or, you know, just on the kind of standard news sites. There's more mention and conversation about potential UFOs, aliens going around, galactic beings here among us or here visiting us. And he's saying this is no surprise. This is going to continue to increase, and there's no stopping it really. He's saying at this time, I'm asking him if there's any beings that are working with him and or assisting him or near him. And he's saying at this time there are groups that are assisting him, and he doesn't necessarily need the same support or efforts that Gaia needs. His role is quite different, so he doesn't need to be anchoring in all of this energy in order to progress and ascend. He's saying at this time he is just holding steady in his energy, and he's really putting a lot of efforts and support in for Gaia. I'm asking him if there's anything else that he would like to share. He's saying he wants to remind you guys that you are here on Earth as a human to experience the transitional phases that we are seeing throughout these last, I want to say like 3-4 years. He's saying it's even farther into the future than that. About 4 years ago and into the next, he's saying about 5-6 years. There is so much energy. There's so much change that is happening within the human collective consciousness, within each of our vessels, within Gaia herself. And he just really wants you to stop and recognize that you're here for this. You're here to be a witness, and you're here to participate. If you feel called to step forward, now's a great time. There's so much energy on the planet, and there's so many people who are awakening that really need that support. And so he's just really highlighting, if you feel resonating, or if you're resonating with stepping forward or just going forward on your own spiritual journey and just really embracing your own path, he wants you to celebrate that and make that a priority within your life, because now's the time when all of this is really taking hold, and there are so many big shifts that are happening that it's just an amazing time to be a human, even though from our perspective it may not be that amazing. To be honest, there's some hard times, that's for sure, and we've honestly, as a whole, there's been so much that we've seen in the last just 18 months that it's just insane. But there's so much more to come. There's so many more positive things to come. There's a lot that's going to be taking place, and it's just really exciting time. And so, yeah, he wants to highlight that and kind of give us that little reminder, because we may feel like we're in a space where it's like, why are we here? Or what's really the purpose of the things that we're experiencing here at this time? Yeah, so that's just kind of his quick little message there, which I really appreciate. I love his energy. He's very youthful, and I kind of see him and the Green Man's energy kind of very similar, very wild, elemental. He's a celestial being. He's, not from Earth, not of Earth. And he just feels so unique, and his frequency is so high vibrational. It's fascinating. So if any of you are interested in channeling or wanting to encounter his energy, feel free to call him into a meditation or ask him questions when you're in a quiet space, or you can quiet your mind to get responses from him. He's more than willing to come in and communicate with you guys. I'm seeing some questions, so I'm going to ask him if he's ready to transition over, and he's saying go for it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of scroll up and see if there's anything that I've missed. Yeah, this is totally, yep, that exhaustion, feeling tired, just feeling not motivated. That's part of all of those ascension symptoms, and just the fact that there's just so much energy coming in that it can be very, very tiring. Wow. Also, other people are also waking up every few hours throughout the night. Yeah, that's not good for resting, for sure. Christina. She had an activation, connection to her point of source, and was wondering if you can assist me. Tell me what's that about. Okay. He's just saying there was, Christina, an influx of energy within that activation, and you have anchored in quite a bit of energy within your vessel. And that was part of that plan for what you experienced on Sunday. And connecting with your inner God spark, that inner spark that's within each of us, connecting with that energy is really powerful. And so you're just feeling that. He's saying that there are more downloads, more information to come from that activation, from that experience. And he's just really encouraging you to take it easy. And when you feel that influx of energy, to just really monitor your energy, but also really pay attention to what you're thinking about, what comes through in your mind. That claircognizance is pretty strong with you. And he's just saying that you're going to be given a lot of information. And to, if you can, write it down or try and summarize it as best you can, so that way you can retain the information and you can use that as you move forward on your path. And he's just kind of like bowing to you. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's, excuse me, I hope I'm not getting the hiccups, but I think it might be. So sorry if I keep like jarring, like shaking around. Okay. All right. I would love to know if my team wants me to take the next Starseed Origins class, or if they'd rather me focus on something else at this moment, please. Okay, I can't see your name, so if you want to share that, that's totally cool. But let's just tune in and see. Okay, Mercury and your team is saying that it's in your hands. If you resonate with the course, if you're really interested in getting to know your Starseed family more, feel free to take it. If you want to maybe delay and wait for maybe the next Starseed course, that is up to you. You're saying that either way, you are going to be connected with your Starseed family and your team. So there's really nothing to lose by joining the class or not joining the class. Joining the class, you might have, it's going to be faster for you to understand who is on your team and kind of start that connection and that communication process. But at the same time, if you're just not resonating with it at this moment, you can delay it and you still will be able to connect if you wish. And I want to throw this out there: if people are resonating with the Starseed class that I host, and maybe you don't feel like it's the right time for you, or you don't have the funds, or you're just not sure about it, I do have a Starseed Know Your Starseed Origins workbook, and it's $15, I think, at this time. Yeah, $15. And that's sold on my website, channelingwithlove.com. And so you could purchase that workbook if you're interested in doing more of a self-paced type of exploration of who's on your team. I like to offer a few different ways for you to connect with that energy, because I find my Starseed family is so important to me that I really want to help people get connected with theirs. And sometimes the course just isn't going to be in the cards for everyone. So if you want to check that out, feel free to. Channeling with Love, my website, is also where you could register for the course if you wanted to join. But it's all in your hands for this person, and for anyone else who's kind of debating or thinking about it. It's all in your hands. Mercury is saying this message was for several people. So I hope that resonates with you. And yeah, it's important. It was really important for me to connect with my team, and I thankfully was able to kind of learn who my team was through channeling and doing meditations and my own inner work. But it's just really, I absolutely love providing guidance and channeling for other people who their Starseed families are, because it's just so fascinating to watch the whole process, and it's just really, really fun. Okay, so Mimi is asking, are there any beings living on Mercury at this time? He's saying, he's making me feel like it's not necessarily they stay there for a long time. It's more like a way station, or like a place to stop and then go and do other things. So I'm not really feeling like there's a ton of energy staying there for any length of time on Mercury. So I'm asking him to confirm that. He's saying yes. He's saying in other moments, like when we were very young upon Gaia, he's kind of showing like us way back when, in like the really early days of man, thousands of years back. He's saying that there were beings who lived upon his back more permanently, but they no longer do so. So that's it. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Lisa has a good question. How does his energy differ from God Mercury, or are they the same energy? They're different energies. He is the celestial being of Mercury, the planet. And I did actually do a little research because I kept feeling that like youthful, wild energy. So I was like, why am I feeling that? And actually in the channeling that I have done for the Starseed class that's coming up, I talk a little bit about that energy in a bit more detail. And I was getting a lot of vibes from like the god Mercury from Roman and Greek mythology. So the Greeks had Hermes and the Romans had Mercury, and they were one and the same essentially. Some people may feel like there's a bit of a difference, but to me their energy was pretty much the same. So that's, I think, maybe to each their own, but I feel like Mercury is the planet is very different than Mercury the god. And he's saying yes, but often humans tied gods to the planets because there were coinciding energies, and they were both the god and the planet working on certain things, and that kind of came through for humans to pick up on at the same time. I'm seeing if there's anything else that they want to share on that. That's really fascinating. I'm asking the god Mercury to step back because he is a little bit more intensive than the planet, and I want to focus on the planet because that's who wanted to come through tonight. But it's so fascinating. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, more personal question. I would love guidance on the purchase of a new office building for my husband's chiropractic practice. Is this the best decision for us right now? Honestly, I'm getting kind of a pullback. Maybe not at this moment, but you can do. I'm getting a sense that there can be some due diligence done to prepare for when you guys feel more ready, or when that it just makes more sense to go forward with purchasing a space, or finding an appropriate space for his practice. I'm just getting a little bit of a pullback, so I'm not sure if there's a specific office building that you have in mind, or if you're just interested in browsing or trying to find a new place at this time. But they're saying do some more research and really get clear on what it is that you are looking for. And it just feels like there needs to be some more preparation in that process. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing lots of good questions here. Okay, this one seems to cover a few different people's questions, so we'll dive into this. So can you talk a little bit about Mercury retrograde and why it affects some people and not others? Is there zodiac a factor in being ruled by a particular planet? Good questions. He's saying all of the planets are in a dance, and a dance across the skies. He's getting kind of poetic here. Each of their energies affect the other, and Mercury's energy can strongly affect Earth's energy and many people or humans upon her back. In times past, the zodiac has been a way to help describe and to help understand the energetic effects of Mercury for many, many, many people. As we move forward upon ascension, and as we're opening up and as our senses are becoming more fine-tuned to energy and frequencies, just naturally as we're moving along our path, Mercury's energy may affect us more greatly. And he's kind of pointing to me as an example. I can share my own personal experience. Before I was channeling, honestly, I don't feel like Mercury retrograde was anything. It didn't matter to me. I didn't see any changes or effects when people would say, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. I'd be like, that's BS. Like I didn't feel it at all. But as I started to open and as I started to channel and really get an understanding of my own energy and understand the nuances of energies around me and energies from Gaia and from nature and just from everything around us, it's become way more clear to me that I am pretty affected by Mercury retrograde. And so he's highlighting it's more about the energy than it is about a zodiac sign or a kind of a means of describing a personality. It's more about the energy and as we're opening. So people who maybe were not affected by it before are going to be very affected by it as they're anchoring more light and they're raising in frequency and they're engaging in more energetic activities. Might be vice versa if someone kind of steps back and doesn't engage in that work anymore, or does it much less as they move forward, or as they just kind of take a pause. They're not going to be as affected. It's just not going to, their senses are not going to pick it up, and they're kind of going to like block it. And our teams can be a part of that as well. That he's showing me sometimes my team would shield me if it was just too much energy. I would ask them to do that, and they would shield that energy from me a bit. Especially when anchoring in light, they can slow it down a bit for us. So there are those effects that can help us get kind of a little relief, but it still is going to be an effect, especially if we're more open. So it's just a matter of balancing that, or, oh, I just saw 3333. Awesome. Balancing that energy, or really, focusing in on the grounding elements and maintaining that balance within yourself. Awesome question. Thank you, guys. There were several people who asked questions on that. So thank you for putting that forward. Whew. Okay, this is a good, interesting question here. As someone who seems to be awakening at this moment in time, how can I most effectively move forward in hearing or seeing the messages from entities such as yourself? Thanks, Mercury. Okay, Mercury is just kind of, he's saying a few key words here for you. And this is for anyone else who also has this question or wants to move forward in their own channeling practice or connecting with spirit in their own private spiritual practice. Practicing, trusting yourself. And he's just kind of showing them like grace, giving yourself the grace, giving yourself the the means of being in a state of allowance, allowing yourself to be where you're at in the moment. And these things come together, and there's some action steps we can take. So in that practice bucket, what he just said, we can practice every single day. You can carve out 10, 15, an hour, however many minutes you have to spare. You can sit down and quiet your mind, and you can ask a lot of questions. And you can do this by yourself or with others. We have mediumship classes coming up with Kristen Davies. She is an amazing teacher. She's actually the person who taught me how to channel. So there are opportunities that you can participate in a group learning style to practice and to get more experience and to get that technique down. But ultimately, if you carve out time to hear spirit, feel spirit, allow spirit to come in however it can, that ultimately is going to really help you expand your senses and expand your understanding of how your technique, how your communication style with spirit is developing, and how it's going, and what your strengths are. Everyone is very unique. And so it's all about what are you sensing and how are you feeling this, and being very observant within your own energy and around you. So that's practice. And then the other one was trusting yourself. That was a few words, a little phrase there. Trusting yourself is so important. If you always doubt that you're getting anything or of value from spirit, you're going to kind of put a block between you and spirit. Spirit, meaning angels, ascended masters, the planets like Mercury, Gaia, your loved ones. You can talk to your family, your ancestors, whoever it is that you want to speak to that's on the other side. If you have this self-doubt that oh, they don't want to talk to me, or I could never figure that out, or I have no idea how to reach them, or they're not going to come in, if you're saying these things, that's going to be your reality. And so you have to just trust and know that yes, they're going to come and speak with you. They want to speak with you. They're dying to speak with you. They really want to come in, and they're going to make it happen however it needs to happen. So when you sense energy around you, or when you get an idea in your head, or you just have this phrase that just pops into your head, just trust it and know that that's not something you're making up. It's not something that is completely irrational or weird. It's totally natural. Humans are designed to communicate with spirit. We're using our basic senses, and we all are equipped to do this. So knowing that and trusting yourself is really, really key, and it helps you maintain that practice. It keeps your confidence up, and it keeps your energy up, so you can continue to do that work. And then the grace part of that is just let yourself be where you're at. You're not going to always hear perfect phrases or sentences, or you may always get clear audience, words in your mind that you can hear from someone else. You may not get visuals. You may not have a strong sense of that clairsentience, that energy sensing. Maybe there's a little bit of everything coming in, or maybe you just have really strong claircognizance, and then you're working on everything else. And just being in this moment, allowing yourself to be as you are, is it's the path of least resistance, honestly. And when I first started channeling, as a personal kind of aside on this, I wanted to hear so bad, the way I perceived everyone else being able to hear spirit. And I think I wanted to hear it in a specific way, that I kind of set up that expectation. And then I was always kind of down because I wasn't meeting that expectation. Kicking those expectations to the curb and just recognizing, what are you feeling right now? How are you getting information now? Is the fastest way to build and open up your senses, and just trust what you're getting. And then as you're doing that, they're going to give you more. They're going to open your chakras more. They're going to open your senses more. And they're going to give you what you're prepared to receive. So being in a state of allowance and just giving yourself that grace to just be where you're at is ultimately the fastest way to improve with spirit. I'm asking Mercury, is there anything else that he would like to share on that? He's saying not at this time. I would just like to throw out there, like I mentioned before, Kristen Davies has her Mediumship for Beginners courses coming up in April. And I will put a link in the comments if you're interested in joining her. Her website is kristendaviesmedium.com. And like I said, that's how I learned how to channel, and she's amazing. And then she can teach anyone, I feel like, how to just be where you're at and build upon it. So definitely, if you're interested in moving forward, check it out. Okay. Lots of cool questions. Okay, here. Suki would like to know if she has any connections, past or present, to Mercury. Cool question. I'm getting, for you, Suki, it's more the god Mercury versus the planet Mercury. So it's more of a draw towards the god Mercury, which is kind of a different energy. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm asking if there's any connection at all. He's saying maybe not a past connection, but if you wish to develop a present connection, feel free to call on him, Suki, and sense his energy. I know you can do that, and call him in and just observe how he feels, because he's super, super awesome. So definitely try that. And you can build up. That's one thing I want to call out too, is if you want to have a connection with a certain spiritual being, like maybe an ascended master, you can invite them into your life. You can ask them questions. It's kind of like building a relationship with a person, like a friend. You can share stories, tell that being a joke, ask them for guidance on a situation, just share your day, ask them questions about themselves or about maybe more bigger picture type things. When we consistently reach out and try and connect in that way, it's easier and easier for us to develop a relationship with that being. I always like to call on Mother Mary and some words of wisdom that I heard from a trans channel of hers, Danielle Gibbons, in her book, Mother Mary's Pathway to Love. She noted that Mother Mary had said, invite me to tea, invite her in, invite her to a tea party, or invite her to sit down in your kitchen table and have a snack with you and just chat as if you were best friends, because ultimately that's how you get comfortable with that being's energy. So Mother Mary would come in, I would invite her in, and she would just feel so comfortable and comforting and familiar. And then that's when I was really able to free flow and channel her a lot more. And that really helped with my practice. So try doing that with Mercury, Suki, if you're really drawn to work with him or any other being. He's saying any being, they are going to come in and assist in that relationship and connection with you. They want to connect with us. So when we consistently put forth that effort, it's going to build that stronger connection. You'll know instantly Jesus is right here, or you'll know instantly that your team is surrounding you, and you can maybe even sense what they're doing for you at the time. So it's really fascinating. But again, it kind of goes back to that practice and that grace of just being where you're at and trusting everything. So I hope that was resonating with you, Suki, or anyone else who's interested in developing a stronger relationship with any spiritual being. Whew, okay, let's see here. This is interesting. Okay, this person was in the store today. All of a sudden, they got extremely dizzy and had an achy neck. Is it ascension, or is someone trying to tell me something? Thank you, Ashley. Mercury is saying that it was more an energy stepping forward to connect with you, and not necessarily ascension. Our teams try and really help us by Making sure ascension symptoms and that activity of anchoring in light within our vessel happens when we're more in a resting pose, or we're kind of in a space where we can just really relax our body. And so he's saying that there was just some intense energy and they were trying to get your attention in the store. If you are not comfortable with that, and again, this goes for this person or anyone else, if you're not comfortable with that, ask Archangel Michael to live in your home and be with you wherever you're at. If you haven't done that, Archangel Michael is like the best bodyguard, and he will really listen to your boundaries and work with you to interact with spirit when you're comfortable or when it's for your highest good. Definitely work with him, because that can really reduce the amount of energy that maybe just comes at you. There are some beings who are more drawn to specific locations that can be a little bit more peskier, or a little bit more uncomfortable to interact with when you're not prepared. And I tell my team I only work with beings who I've invited to come in and speak with, so I can work with clients, teams and energies and whatnot. But I also really make an effort to hold a boundary where if a being steps forward, my team introduces them for me. So I am knowing that my team is kind of giving them the green light and saying that they're okay. I have had some experiences where I've had energy just kind of try and bum rush me, but Michael was not having it, and he would step in and immediately they would have to leave. And the Council of Light actually came in with me several times in those kind of situations as well, which I really appreciated. So it's really fascinating. But working out your own boundaries when you're practicing with spirit is really important. So think about that, but don't worry about it too much. Once you set your boundaries, they're good. They're like standing orders, and you can change them if you need to, but always just, make sure you're feeling comfortable and open when you're prepared to be open. Okay, here I'm seeing a lot of good questions. Suki, I definitely know Mercury and Hermes are pretty similar. They're not as Thoth is completely different, very different energy. Yeah. Let's see. Nicole has a question here. She feels somehow connected with Mercury, the planet. Is there a tie I may have? If so, what should I be working on right now? He's saying that, yeah, Nicole, you have had ties, have had experiences as a galactic being, and as a human here on Earth, you have had experiences where you've interacted with his energy before, as you have been on this ascension path for several lifetimes. So in some of your other lifetimes, you have had experiences where you've worked with his energy and connected more directly. Right now, what you could be working on is grounding and being in a space where your mind is quiet and you're able to receive the information coming in, and he would like to work with you. So if you want to call him in and maybe ask him questions about your previous work together and about the different experiences that you've had, that would be a really good idea and a cool way to get to know yourself more and know him better as well. So definitely think about doing a few activities like that where you can just kind of meditate or be more active, but really keep your mind as quiet, like loose as you can, and invite him to come in and see what he has to share with you. That'd be really fascinating. Okay, let's see. One more question, and he's kind of pulling his energy back now. So we'll take this question and then we will be done for the evening. Okay, so this is kind of like a part of a question. I see the end of this question over here. So this person has tons of orbs around them, dozens and dozens all the time. They don't bother them, but they're just wondering who or what they are. Good question. That's kind of crazy. It's cool, but different. Mercury's just saying that that's your team. You're just sensing their energy. And you have a lot of team members, so angelic team members on your team. And I'm also getting some family members, more, maybe a few generations separated between you and these family members. They feel very ancestral, I think. So that's just kind of the feeling I get from them. Yeah, and so they're just wanting you to know, they're being very visual because they want you to know that they're there. And you're very open to seeing through the veil quite a bit. So seeing that light, seeing those orbs really represents you being able to pick up on spirit quite well. But yeah, they're always with you. And you don't need to pay them any mind. But you can ask them more questions or try and engage with them more. And these are really just your angels, your team, your angelic team, and those ancestors that Mercury had mentioned as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for just asking so many good questions and hanging out with me this evening. This has been really fun. And I just want to say thank you again to Mercury for joining us. If you guys are interested, check out his energy. It's so amazing. And one thing that I always get completely fascinated with is that we can connect with these beings, these celestial bodies of planets and galactic beings and all of these amazing energies that are around us every day and can affect us all the time, but we can certainly interact with them, and they're ready and waiting for us to do so. So remember to just reach out to them and ask a lot of questions and have fun with it. And he's just saying goodbye. He's just kind of giving a little hat tip there. So cute. And again, I'm so grateful you guys have joined me this evening. If you have questions about the Starseed class that is coming up in just 2 days' time, feel free to reach me through channelingwithlove.com, or my email is ashleycunningham@gmail.com, and I can put that in the comments below as well. But have a good evening, guys, and I hope you are all doing well. Get lots and lots of rest. We all need it. Love you guys. Bye.